If you are experiencing foundation issues, get a free estimate from Ox Foundations.
The Coach Matt Griffith Show brought to you by Stop and Shop Auto Sales here on a Thursday morning. And another region game last week, another region win last week, and that's the way you like it, isn't it?
Yeah, that's the way they've got to be. I mean, so it was a good win. Our kids did what they were supposed to do, went out and played really well. St. Clair County is a struggling program. They're very young. They didn't have many seniors, and so our kids went out there and did exactly what I wanted them to do. They really put it away by the first half. And then, really did it by about midway through the third quarter. We got to play every kid on the team again. We had a lot of young kids, and I was really impressed. Our B team went in and drove the length of the field and scored. That's always good for those young kids. Our young defense did not give up a score. So, it was a good night when you can do those things.
And being able to play a lot of players, it's a reward for those kids that have been out there just like the starters and have worked every day,
absolutely,
every play in the heat, and they're rewarded by playing in the game.
Sure they are. Those same kids, whether they're young or whether they're old kids, they're at practice every day. They've gone through the 100-degree heat, and playing time and those kind of things under the lights are a reward. Especially, we're living in a day and time, especially around Talladega County, that we'll schedule 7 or 8 B team games and 3 to 4 will get canceled. We're very fortunate to get to play 4, maybe 5 B team games for those kids. So any chance you've got to get those guys in when a game's put away, either up or down, it's a good thing for those guys.
You talk about how the defense played real well last Friday. What about on the offensive side of the football? You rang up a lot of points and a lot of touchdowns.
Yeah, well, I mean, I didn't realize until we got the stats that Malik Pope had rushed for, he had 14 carries for 224 yards.
Pretty good average.
He has a pretty good average. Ridgeway had 8 carries, and I think he had 131. It put him over 1,000 for the year. Malik's at 956 going into the center point game. So we're sitting with 2 running backs at 1,000 yards.
You don't see that very often.
You don't. JD, if we'd have not had 2 major penalties, JD would have been his 3rd game throwing over 120 yards. And so, everybody's starting to click and play well, and we're going to need that. We're hoping that we're getting better and better and better, that we start peaking as we hit these last 3 region games that we're hitting.
And you wanted to throw the football more as the season goes along.
Yeah, I mean, there's no doubt. Listen, we took all summer long and we played Clay Chalkville, we played Spain Park, we played the Homewoods, we played Minor. We went and played up a classification all summer long, trying to get our passing game where we wanted it. And it's slowly getting there. It's just taking a while. We're not as fast at receiver as we have been in the past. So it's sometimes difficult to get open if somebody's playing man-to-man and you're not very fast. You have to run very precise routes. But JD has continued to progress and get better every week. Our offensive line has a lot to do with that by protecting him and letting those 2 running backs. It takes the pressure off of him. So we'll see. Hopefully it gets better as a year. There's still a lot of football to play.
Yeah, and it's not a slap at St. Clair County by any means, but the Center Point's a different beast tomorrow night.
Well, there's no doubt. You're facing one of the top 10 teams in the state. They are tremendously fast. They are tremendously big and fast. They're very talented. It's probably one of the most talented teams in Alabama in 5A. And so it's a very good football team. Number 4, who moved in from Fultondale, is a definite D1 athlete. And they put him everywhere. They put him at receiver. They put him at the slot. They put him in a wildcat. They put him at running back. You got to find him every single time where he lines up. So it's going to take a complete physical ball game to beat this bunch Friday night.
Now, Center Point comes in. They've beaten Central Clay County, have they? No, they didn't beat. It was Jasper that beat Central Clay County. But you guys have got key region games coming up. This one is one of them, and a lot of people have circled this game, Center Point, because they are just how you described them. Offensively for Sylacauga, if you're clicking on all cylinders, your defense plays well, you got a good chance of knocking them off.
There's no doubt. I think we match up very well up front with them. Defense and offensive front, the game's going to be won up there. We've told our kids all week, the front's going to win the game, and we've got to be able to tackle in space, which is very difficult sometimes. They're going to do their hitches, and they're going to do their quick screens. They're going to do all these things. You've got to tackle that guy for 5 yards. You can't let a 5-yard hitch go for 40. Because you miss an open field tackle. You just got to wrap those guys up. And so, I mean, I'm telling you, we've had a good week of practice. We think we're very prepared, and we're going to kick it off at 7 o'clock, and we're going to find out.
All right, Center Point tomorrow night. Coach Matt Griffith in his 15th year as a head football coach at Sylacauga High School. And I didn't realize till I got to looking this week, Sylacauga won a lot of games in your tenure. You've had some good players over there.
Yeah, we have. We've been very fortunate to have a lot of good players, and we've been very fortunate to have the same staff over a long period of time. I was looking at it. I think we're 72 or 73 wins in a 10-year period. That's only, I think we're 2 to 3 wins on a 10-year period of being the greatest decade in school history. And I don't think people are quite aware of that. And I was not aware of it till it was brought to my attention. And, but that's a credit to the school, and that's a credit to the kids that have come through this program and done everything we asked them to do, and hopefully continue to do those things.
In 15 years here at Sylacauga High School, you have become the Dean of Coaches in Talladega County. And I don't know if that has to do with the gray hair.
I don't know. I know this much. I got here at 36, and all this gray hair wasn't there. And I always say, we've taken, my wife and I are very fortunate that it's been a partnership that I've given this town and this school the best years of my life, and will continue to do so. And they have allowed me to live here and raise my family here, and have very much always welcomed me as a person in this community. And I think that's a great partnership.
Well, no excuses for people not packing the stadium tomorrow night, as it's a key region matchup against Center Point. And this game is all hands on deck.
It is all hands on deck, but I'll say this, it's all hands on deck for the next 3 games. They're all important. They decide whether you go to the playoffs, and they decide what jockeying for position you will be in the playoff situation. So they're all very, very important. 1, 2, 3 right here in a row.
And seeded 1 or 2 in the regions, a whole lot different than being seeded 3 and 4, because you travel 3
That's
and 4.
Right. You travel in 3 and 4, and if you're a 4, you're having to knock off somebody's 1. It makes it a little more difficult. It's not impossible. It happens. But, we don't want to get in that situation. Right. 1, we want to be in the playoffs, and 2, we want to be in that 1 and 2 and host.
Well, you've been a consistent playoff team down through the 15 years, and people, including the coaching staff and the football team, they expect to be where they are now.
Yeah,
they expect to be jockeying for position as a 1 or 2 seed.
They do, and we expect where we're at every year. We really do, and I like those expectations. They weren't here 15 years ago. The program had gotten so down, it was more of just get us winning, just get us even. When we did that, and then we've done this for so long, those expectations are high. Every year we fully expect to win, we fully expect to make the playoffs, and we fully expect to get out of the playoffs and make noise in the state and be ranked. I mean, we enjoy being ranked because we feel our school is as good as any school out there, and we want people to know that.
All right, Coach Matt Griffith, the head football coach and athletic director at Sylacauga High School. The Aggies take on Center Point. Kick tomorrow night, 7 o'clock, Legion Stadium. We'll see you there, and Coach, we'll see you next week.
All right, thanks for having me.
More Daybreak in just a minute.